What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Kicks and Picks podcast. Nick and Scotty with you to start off today. Coach Steve joining us in a few. No EPL this weekend, Scotty, after what was pretty entertaining week, but do have some good games in the FA Cup. We're going to cover Serie A back in full force and a really Madrid derby in Spain. So I think good outline for the show. We'll see what else comes our way. Maybe Coach Worldwide has something up his sleeves. But be remiss to say it. I know Coach didn't say it last week when I came on late. We are on a absolute heater since the start of the new year. I think we've been absolutely crushing. I know late last weekend we faltered just a tiny bit, but that's because every game just ended in a 1-1 draw. But it's feeling good about
kind of counter to what our usual pattern is. Usually we start to fade towards the back half of the season. Second half of the season is where we try to just hold on to our units that we've gained, but for whatever reason this year we've bucked that trend. We're doing pretty well, and hopefully we'll keep that going this week.
Yeah, new Champions League format doing us a lot of favors too. So definitely let's keep that shit going here. Gonna roll into the FA Cup to start off. Like I said, surprisingly some good matches. I don't know what round is this exactly that we're in?
Yeah, because it starts in
so England has
September.
Like 6 cups and they all
it's weird because it starts in September and it's usually the lower league games, and then it finally gets into Premier League clubs get involved in December. So I think it's technically the 6th round or something thereabouts. Okay. But yeah, it's really the second round where Premier League clubs are fully involved.
Gotcha. And speaking of, we have Aston Villa, who is at home to Tottenham. Villa minus 125 on the money line. Tottenham plus 265. Draws plus 290. I will get into my very silly theory and bets on this one. But Scotty, I want your analysis on this, dude, because this is like the fraud bowl, right? You and I have been beating these drums the entire season. Neither defense can stop anybody. Neither team could stay healthy, and goals don't seem to come in regularly, right? Villa had that really nice little purple patch early on. I think they've done well in Europe, right? Considering it's their first,
they've advanced.
Their first foray. But they cannot figure a thing out. And I know last week we had mentioned, be careful. This is the trappiest line of the whole week. Wolves are good. Wolves can score some goals. Villa's defense is terrible. And check it out. Villa lost 2-0.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, this is Tottenham. I've gotten wrong so much in the last month, it feels like, because I kept feeling like there's going to be some sort of fight back from them, and it never came. And so last weekend I was like, all right, yep, time to take Brentford at home. That's a no-brainer. Bounce back from Liverpool. Tough loss where they gave up 2 goals in the last 10 minutes or 15 minutes or whatever it was. And then, Brentford laid an egg. Spurs came out, scored 2, kept a clean sheet, almost looked competent. And so I think that broke a streak of 4 or 5 consecutive losses for them in the league.
Yep.
And yeah, you just said it about Aston Villa. They've been equally as fraudulent, it seems. I mean, they're still sitting at least in the top half of the table, where Spurs were almost flirting with Everton levels. Well, I can't disrespect Everton. They're doing better. But they were flirting with Everton levels of disappointment. Granted, they have a huge injury crisis. I get it. But, when you're sitting there at 15th, 16th in the table and you're a team that has a 45, 50,000 seat stadium, feels a little weird in the Premier League. So, yeah, I'm looking at this line. Everything in my gut is hey, both of these teams are pretty bad. I get it. Villa, at least in recent weeks, they had the tough loss last weekend against Wolves, which you and I have called out many times, that this year's Wolves team is as unpredictable as ever.
Yes.
But aside from that, they've been unbeaten, 5 or 6 straight in the league. Like you said, they've been doing okay in Champions League. So their problem has really just been they can't keep a clean sheet. Yeah, they concede pretty much night and day, constantly. That's the one thing you can really bet on with them. So this certainly is going to be an overs match. I don't think the line, unfortunately, is going to be that great. Over 3.5 is plus 115. So gross. Over 3 on the Asian handicap, you're looking at minus 150. Not much to do there. Honestly, you kind of have to take. I kind of want to take Spurs in this because maybe it is coming out. I can't continue to fade them in this instance. And draw no bet at plus 180. It's not a terrible time to take a shot.
Yeah. Listen, one thing I do want to point out, you talked about the Spurs Brentford game. Brentford, if I mean, how much stock anybody puts in XG, I'll leave that up to how anybody views it.
Coach.
Yeah, Coach
That's who puts the
XG.
stock in
We
it.
need him. But
Yeah.
they did have 20 shots. They did have an over 2 XG. They did have the bulk of possession. I mean, it's not like Spurs looked good. They got the result. They got the result away from home.
Yep.
But Brentford very easily should have gotten in the back of the net. So I know they ruined both teams to score, I think, in an over for us. So yeah, I'm kind of with you in a game like this where both teams, I don't want to say they're evenly matched, but like both defenses are equally bad. I'll always kind of lean towards the underdog with the spread if I'm betting it seriously. So I'm kind of with you there. I'm going to look up the odds on the Asian spread in a second. I will say this does feel like a game where you could take some sort of a high scoring draw. 2-2 correct scores plus 900, 3-3 correct score if you want to get nuts is plus 2,500. And I think if this is the round where games, do go to extra time and penalties. Either of these teams to win on penalties is plus 1,400. I think like if you're looking to take a shot, this is one of those games where I think you can. I think there's actually a few in this round of the FA Cup, but that's kind of where I'm at. But yeah, Tottenham double chance, not bad. Tottenham +1, it's minus 150. It's super chalky, but could that get you a 90-minute result? Does it give you a couple of outs? I think it does. Villa's defense is bad.
Yeah, I think you kind of just gave me an idea here. So Spurs double chance over 1.5 minus 110. It's not terrible. There's going to be goals. I mean, both teams to score is basically it's like minus 200 in this. And yeah, you get the draw or Spurs win, cashes it for you. At minus 110, it's not the greatest number. Like obviously we try to get those game parlays into plus money, but at this point I'll take what I can get. And yeah, like I said, I'm not going to fade Spurs at this instance because the second that I keep switching it back, I'm going to, drop the ball. So
Marcus Rashford, potential first game.
Well, I don't know, dude. What shape is he in? I mean, that guy hasn't played in a game in months.
Don't know. Yeah, his knees are about as good as ours.
You could throw him in maybe in a little sub appearance. I will say, dude, when he got his press picks for signing his contract with Villa, I mean, that dude had an all-time like hangover face. That dude's been out partying for like 2 months straight. Like he was so bloated and puffy. I didn't even recognize him at first because he was just so puffy. But yeah, I would love to see maybe like a little 30-minute cameo a la Duran's, previous role with Villa. I could see that happening.
For sure. One last thing I just want to throw out because I just mentioned it with Oaks and Leg, and I want to sound smart twice. I feel like Villa could almost be turning into like a West Ham in the sense of like the reliance on Ollie Watkins and how West Ham did it with Antonio forever and ever and ever. Like at what point do you just bench Ollie or not make him the focal point of the offense? Yeah. Now that you've brought in Malin, you've brought in what's his face that doesn't ever play Fulkrug. No, wrong team. Yep. Sorry. Rashford, obviously who I'm talking about, but like, I don't know. At what point are we switching it up because they're not scoring goals?
Yeah, I mean, probably soon. Surprisingly enough, Ollie Watkins is not young. He's 29. I think he's turning 30 this year. Obviously, it's February. And yeah, we know that strikers, save for a few select ones, once they hit 30, legs start to go, production starts to drop. I think, Salah and Kane are maybe like the only two in recent Premier League examples where that hasn't quite been the case. But
yep.
Yeah, I think it's going to have to be soon. And yeah, to your point, I mean, if they're going to be conceding goals like West Ham have been the last 2 years, they're going to need more offensive firepower up top. And you don't want that to be a 30-year-old striker, not in this day and age.
Just throwing it out. All right, let's see. Southampton at home to Burnley.
Yes.
My odds are not pulling up, so bear with me, guys, for a second here.
I can hit you. You want money line odds?
Whatever. I was just going to try to set the tone, but take me through whatever odds you want to take me through.
Listen, Southampton right now, coming off a big win against Ipswich, gets 3 points, bringing them up to like 9 points, I think, on the season. Sitting at minus 135 on the money line, it's pretty generous. I get it. Burnley promoted last year. They struggled. And then now they're doing okay in the championship this year. I think they're sitting second place. They were pretty close to Leeds until the last week or two. They've dropped a couple points with draws. But Burnley plus 370 on the money line here, it feels a little disrespectful. I get it. They flamed out big time in the Premier League last year. They did not look like they belonged. I think that's kind of the side effect of some of these newly promoted teams and how they're able to handle the Premier League these days. When you come in from the Championship, you're playing, at least last or 2 years ago, Burnley was playing really attacking style football. I think they led the league in goals. And if you try to do that with that talent pool in the Premier League, you're going to get caught out. The teams that do well in the promotion coming up from the Championship are typically the teams that are going to be built around defense first and then try to hit you on the counter, get points pretty consistently, steal a win here and there against a mid-table side. And Burnley just wasn't, built to play that way. So I do think that playing someone like Southampton, they're probably going to match up a little bit better. Scott Parker's now the manager. Vincent Kompany's gone. Scott Parker, I think, is actually a really talented. He's not young anymore. He used to be a young guy in the Premier League for a decade or so. But I think he's able to handle himself in top leagues. We've seen that in the past. So I like Burnley getting something out of this. I think their double chance in this is even money plus 100. I don't mind that one bit. This is a pretty terrible Southampton team that they've gotten one win in the last week. I don't see them hitting back-to-back wins, even if it's against a Championship side. So this is certainly an FA Cup match that you want to circle and take a chance on the underdog because I think as far as upsets go, like this is probably up there with one of the more likely ones.
Yeah, I dig that. I like both teams to score minus 115. I just think that's right there. If you expect Burnley to get something out of it, they're going to need a goal or multiple. And I'd be a little surprised if Southampton didn't get in the score sheet at home. So both teams to score looks really good to me. Minus 115.
Yeah, and I think Southampton have really nothing else to lose at this point. There's no rotation or anything, so they'll be putting out their best lineup. And yeah, I could see a goal at home for sure.
That's all I got for this one. I don't know if you had anything else.
No, I didn't have any goal scorer props or anything like that, anyways. But it could also be a corners match, but I'm guessing the corners are pretty high in that one.
I don't know.
That one real quick. Corners over 9.5. That's not bad. I could see corners in this one. So I might take a little shot on that over minus 115.
Oaks likes the under, which I think the logic there is very, very sound as to why that could happen, right? The worst team in the Premier League and an okay team in the Championship.
Yeah, it's fair.
Can't really knock it.
I think both teams will be happy to kind of sit back and try to steal one on the counter. So,
Coach, gun to your head, Southampton, Burnley. What do you got?
Southampton, Burnley. I mean, I don't even know where Burnley is in the Championship table. So
we covered that. They're sitting in second. They're really close to.
If that's the case,
but
I might take Burnley. Southampton's pretty bad.
There you go. The man had no fucking clue we were talking about. And came right in with the logic.
I'm glad he's aligned too.
Hell yeah. Love it, Coach. What's up?
What's going on?
We got a better one for you, though, here. Brighton at home to Chelsea. And by better, I mean, I don't know what to make of either team because they also both kind of suck.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Force just kind of hung a touchdown on Brighton. So.
And Brighton just lost to Everton the week before that. I think Brighton are kind of in a lull right now. Chelsea, I think they've struggled a little bit. They got smoked by City, and that we all kind of thought City was maybe on the up and up, and then City turned around and get smoked by Arsenal, and we kind of retracted that. But I don't know. I'm still kind of a believer in Chelsea. Brighton seem to be close to bottoming out right now. They're sitting in 10th, another couple drop points in the Premier League, and they'll be in the bottom half of the table for the first time in what seems like, at least 5 years. They've been doing really well. But Chelsea plus money on the money line, that feels like a trap. I don't know. That feels a little odd with the way that Brighton's playing.
It always scares me in a cup match because the other team knows they can hold out for penalties if it's like tied late.
Steve fucking comes in with the heat. He knows. He knows.
That's always the scary part. I mean, I don't know if Nick talked about the bet we were on yesterday.
No, but this would
match,
be
right?
I should have talked about it the last game. It would have been a better example. But no, cups are fucking worse, dude. And I don't know. To your point, Steve, if anybody, I don't know. I didn't exactly tweet about it, but we had Lille to advance to close out a parlay. They were playing a second division team that I'd never heard of in France. They're up in the 85th minute. I think they scored 83rd, 82nd, whatever.
Like that. After they were, it seemed like it was
dominated
going to be
the game,
like
right?
0-0 because they were dominating and couldn't get one past the guy. But
5 minutes of stoppage time. We're somehow into the 7th minute of stoppage time. This other team gets a miracle header, the only shot on target the entire game. So now it's 1-1, goes directly to penalty kicks. Lille is up 3-0 on penalty kicks. The other team didn't go yet. So they're up 3-1 after the first 3 rounds. Did they lose the fucking penalty kick shootout? So the dagger in the 97th minute and then missed fucking 3 straight penalties to fucking blow the game. Like, that is the danger of cups. So long story, coach is exactly right. This is the second place I'm going with. If you want to take a team to like advance in penalty kicks, you can get plus 1,200 on either of these teams, because I really don't think I can't make heads or tails of who's going to win.
Yeah, and there's no extra time, right? They go straight to PKs like they've been doing these other cup ties.
No, this one I think there's extra time. Or I could be wrong. Scotty will have to check me on that.
Yeah, there's extra. No, this one goes straight to penalties, I think.
I feel like most leagues are doing that now to cut back on like minutes of these guys' legs.
I think extra time was only in like semifinals. I was gonna say I did find a wrinkle. I think I figure out why these odds are so.
They have team to win in extra time listed in method of victory. That's the only reason I'm questioning it.
So it could be then. I'm not an expert on the.
But Brighton to win on PKs or Chelsea to win on PKs are both 1,200.
Yeah, now okay, it's starting in this round. They go to extra time. Last round they go straight to penalties. Now that we're in this round, as of January 12th, now the matches will go in. So I guess it's the earlier stages. They just go straight to penalties. Anyways, the wrinkle that I have found. Chelsea are playing at Brighton FA Cup this weekend. They're playing at Brighton again next Saturday in the Premier League. In those weird matchups, that's usually where you see teams split. Doesn't matter who it is. Could be, team in the top 4, team in the bottom 4, whatever. There's always going to be a split. So maybe they're thinking that Chelsea might drop up some points here and then pick those back up next weekend.
No, I can see that.
That's not going to stop me from betting on Chelsea, because I would kick myself if I passed up Chelsea plus 125 against a really shitty Brighton team.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think Cole Palmer, also, I just want to brag about him every week because I really like watching him. Plus 150 is an okay number if he starts, because who's going to stop him from doing whatever he wants?
Not Brighton's defense. That just conceded 7.
So let me ask you guys this one, because this one's, I don't know if you touched it yet, but Forest is at Exeter City. Don't even know what division they're in. Considering I've never heard of them, they're probably in at least the 3rd or 4th division, right? Their Forest team total over 2.5 is even money.
Forest team total over 2.5?
Over 2.5.
Are you trying to advocate for taking Forest scoring 3 goals?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like,
City.
No, I'd have to see their lineup. I got to see how seriously they're taking it. But then again, you could make the argument, if they got a couple academy kids or a couple reserves that come in, like, do they want to make the best impression possible? Maybe.
Like that just seems like an utter mismatch, even if you're playing some of your reserves, right? Like, I know they have to go on the road, but
I do like how you thought we were going to talk about that game. So respect.
Yeah, I figured you probably hadn't touched this before I got on, but like I just see some of these, and you get these matchups in the FA Cup, and it's always funny when you get like Villa against Spurs in this round, but then you have Forest against Exeter City and Preston Wycombe and Coventry playing Ipswich. Like, you get these matchups, you have teams that are lesser known, and you have these big matchups. So that one kind of jumped out at me, just because it's not a terrible amount of goals for a team like that to have to score. 3 goals, not that crazy.
Yeah. I guess if you want to take something like that in this game, over 3 team total, or not over 3 over 3 total is sitting there at minus 130, just about playable.
Yeah, and like I said, if I'm gonna do that, I'm sorry, I always forget where the exact thing is. I'm gonna take a stab at either team to win on penalties, or I'm gonna take a stab at like a high scoring draw, like a 2-2 correct scores plus 800, a 3-3 is plus 2,200. I'd rather do that than, if I'm looking for 3 goals, than taking over 3 at plus 1.
I could see Chelsea winning this 3-0, to be honest with
possible.
you.
No, certainly possible. Not saying it isn't, but
yeah, Leg agrees with me. Chelsea money line. I think I don't see how. Again, it feels very much like a trap line. It shouldn't be plus money, but
Yeah.
I'm going to kick myself if I pass up on it, and then Chelsea wins 3-0 because it just feels so easy.
And
Yeah.
I think what goes into is what you said too. Brighton's played 2 terrible matches in a row.
Yeah.
So
Brighton are who we thought they were at the beginning of the year when they were proving us wrong.
I mean, they're due. I mean, listen, they've been picked apart for years, right? So they're certainly due for some.
Is Danny Welbeck still healthy? Because I remember the first month of the year, that dude had a couple goals.
Yeah. That dude and James Milner carried them through the first month, and then the legs fell off. So
plus 200 to score, Danny Welbeck, if you feel good.
There you go.
Let's go to the hottest team in England, Everton.
Oh, yeah.
Taking on Bournemouth. Everton,
formerly the hottest team in England until Liverpool had their way with them.
Yeah.
It had to be said.
Sorry, guys. I have my tabs open, ready to go, and for every reason, I'm getting the spinnies here.
So Everton are at home, plus 180. Bournemouth on the road, plus 140. Draw at plus 240. I've been here beating the drum that Moyes and Everton, 2 things independently terrible, throw them together and it works. I don't know.
Beto, 2 goals in a game.
Yeah, Beto.
2 goals in a game. He's back.
Beto, more goals in that one game than Rashford has all season. Some are saying.
Yeah, many.
But with that said, I don't know that I could advocate for Everton in this game. I don't mind them maybe getting a draw. If you liked going and throwing money on the draw line, by all means, plus 240. I could see that like a 1-1 type game happening here at Goodison Park. But Bournemouth draw no bet at minus 135 feels like the smart play. You might want to wait a little bit. I feel like that could probably shift a little bit more in your favor as the week goes on. But I mean, Areola has been doing a great job with the team. They score almost at will, except when they're playing Liverpool. So I don't think they're going to rotate in this. There's no reason to. It's just a normal match week for them. They don't have anything going on midweek either side of the game. So
Coach's boy missed like the goal of all goals, right? In that game against Liverpool.
Former Roma
who?
Kluivert?
Justin Kluivert. Former Roma
Oh, he missed. Yeah. Sorry. I thought you said score. I was like, nobody scored against Liverpool. Yeah.
No.
He had an all-time miss.
No, so I mean, I'm going to bring them up in the same vein that I kind of brought up Brentford that we just talked about, right? Like, listen, Liverpool, I don't think we're really in danger of losing that game, but Bournemouth still somehow managed 14 shots. They managed a 1.5 XG. They managed almost 50% possession. Like they should win the game. They're favorites for a reason. But Everton's hot. Like I don't even know who to back here.
Yeah.
It's really like I'm kind of torn because I don't want to bet against Everton until I see them lose or until I see them play really, really poorly. And they haven't done that in a month.
Yeah, I mean, they've scored 8 goals in their last 3 games. That's very un-Everton of them. Haven't seen that.
Beto has 3 of them. He has to have 3 of those 8, right?
Is Beto the second coming of Lukaku?
That's many are saying.
It's a real question.
The best Everton striker since Wayne Rooney, I'm hearing.
Yeah, could be. Speaking of strikers, looking at some of these goal scorer props, there's value out here. I mean, the shortest odds are Coach's boy Kluivert at plus 190, but I think if you go down a little bit, Semenyo at plus 295, he's arguably one of the most dangerous left wings in England right now. I don't mind that. Hold on. I lost him. Tavernier, dude loves a long shot, plus 400. I could see that happening a little bit. I don't know. I kind of like some of these anytime goal scorer props. You can probably pick a couple. Beto, Nick, if you want to back him, plus 240, back-to-back matches.
He's fucking hot. Do you think it's an over game? I think it's an over game. Over 2.5, minus 130.
Yeah, for sure.
I think both teams want to win.
Scoring. Everton's getting a goal, for sure. So, I don't mind that at all.
Coach, anything for you in this one? Any thoughts?
No, I think you guys covered it.
All right. Last one.
FA Cup.
Man United at home to Leicester. Man U is minus 320, and I would love Scotty or Coach or any of our very good friends in the chat to tell me why Manchester United is minus 320 to anybody.
Yeah, no, there shouldn't be.
Couldn't tell you. And it's not like they're playing a second or third division side. They're playing a Premier League side. And for as poorly as they're playing, I can't.
Yeah.
I know Leicester's not very good either, but to be minus 320 is a little surprising to me.
Yeah, Leicester's certainly not very good. So fair. United have been bad, but they have picked up wins against some of the shittier teams in the Premier League right now. They picked up a 1-0 against Fulham, and then a couple weeks before that, they picked up the 3-1 against Southampton. So at least there's some track record of them beating those really bottom tier clubs in Premier League. With that said, I don't know. I kind of am a believer in Vardy in FA Cup. It seems like that he's just so consistent. This seems like one of those matches where he's going to show up. He's going to have a great game. I'm not necessarily advocating for Leicester money line or any way, shape, or form, but plus 1.5 at minus 115.
Yes.
Dude, I mean, this is a United team. We've said it many, many times. They don't score goals. Even in that game against Fulham, they won. They scored 1 goal. Leicester are going to get a goal in this game. Full stop. So plus 1.5, you're asking a United team with no forwards basically to get you 3 goals. I don't see it. So I love Leicester plus 1.5 in this. Another road underdog in the FA Cup. That's probably where my pick is, unless you really want to go look at team totals.
No,
like legs in the chat here. Vardy shot on target minus 130 from to get just 1 shot on target. That's a very
silly.
playable number.
Silly.
I mean, he probably only plays 60 or 70 minutes, but that's plenty of time for Vardy. So
I'll let you simmer here a second, Coach, to back up Scotty. I think Leicester plus 1.5 is a very good number. Like I'll level set that with line of thinking. Tell me you disagree, agree or disagree. Leicester gets a goal in this game. Let's assume they get a goal.
Yep,
okay.
100%.
We're assuming Leicester get a goal. Leicester plus 1.5 is minus 115. United would need 3 for you to lose that bet. I had some really good ones, and let's see here. Leicester just to score a goal is minus 150. I mean, it's super chalky, but I don't know. Could you do something with it? I think. And then you have Man United team total. Man United team total under 2.5 is minus 130. So in any scenario, you think, hey, is United going to score 3 goals? If you don't think that, you could play any kind of one of these bets here. And I don't know what would lead anybody to believe that United's going to score 3 goals. So why am I not playing United under 2.5?
I won't talk you out of that. I think I follow your logic, and I am in agreement. So
yeah. I mean, I have no way of backing United in a positive way right now.
And we're looking at goal scorers: plus 110 for Højlund, plus 105 for Diallo, plus 115 for Garnacho, plus 125 for Bruno, plus 125 for Xerxes. Like, are you nuts?
None of those is my answer. Diallo is the only forward I would ever consider putting money on for a to score or to have a shot on target type prop for United right now. Just don't trust anybody else. Not good.
Absolute dog shit. So, man, I hope Leicester win. I hope Leicester gets something out of it, but I don't know. Getting silly numbers here. United is minus 320, and that's got to be the wildest line in of any game in the FA Cup.
Yeah. I mean, I would love Leicester to get a win here. Just even if you're not backing Leicester in any way, plus 1.5 or etc. But United losing and dropping out of the FA Cup would just be like the final cherry on this shit season for them, because it's basically the end of their season at that point, and it's February. They're playing on Friday, so it'll be February 7th. Crazy.
I do just want to point out before we move to Italy, our boy Leg is in the chat live betting Brazil friendlies. Like, I don't even think the league started. I think it's legit just a friendly, and this dude Leg is out here giving us the play-by-play and betting fucking Neymar to probably score or something.
Oh yeah, is it his first game today?
I think it is. Word on the street is they flew him in to practice on helicopter yesterday. Yeah. So I believe he will be playing.
Might as well.
Big miss for the MLS to not get Neymar in there. Just saying.
We gotta save that spot for Balotelli.
In fact, it's his birthday and first game. There you go. So if anybody has Brazilian friendlies on your book, now's the time to live bet Neymar. How much time left, Leg?
I can look up Santos.
I'll let him answer. Does anybody have anything
20
else
minutes left?
20 minutes left. Plenty of time for Neymar. Anything else in the FA Cup before we move on?
No, I think we got it. We nailed it in about 30 minutes. So
Shit,
credit
go
to
us.
for staying on schedule.
I think so. Italy, we got some decent games here. We'll run through them as we usually do.
Hold up. That's generous.
That was just
The
yeah.
the Italy slate is almost as bad as the FA Cup slate. So
all right.
There's value to be found.
Thank you. That's I'm
okay.
sorry. Wait. When I say there's good games, there's good games as in we're gonna find a bet.
That's what. Okay, just wanted to clarify.
Oh, yeah. Like, am I gonna watch Torino Genoa? No, you'd have to murder me. But like, I'd have to held at gunpoint. But am I gonna find a bet for the listeners? Absolutely. So we're gonna.
That's not how you're gonna spend your Saturday afternoon.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. 2:45 game, brutal. Well, lucky for us though, we have a Friday game that Coach Steve cannot wait for, and that is Como at home to Juve. Juve plus 105 on the money line, Como plus 255. The draw special plus 225. Como talked about very much on this podcast for a very long time, close to relegation on their maiden season. They've now spent the second most amount of money in the transfer window in January after Manchester City. So they are taking an absolute torpedo to my plus 900 ticket of Como to get relegated. I just can't imagine they spend 100 million and get relegated. I'd be really shocked. That being said, should I be rooting for them in this game because they're playing Juve?
Oh, you will be.
Yes.
Should you or should you not is not the question. I just know that you will be. So
you can hedge your plus 900 with a plus 255 on the money line and make a third of it there.
There you go. Hey, financial advice. I mean, guys, Juve plus 105 kind of seems too good to be true for me to hedge out Juve dropping points. Like, you're gonna give me plus money, and that way I can do my favorite thing, which is say I'm smart for winning a bet, or Juve drop points. Kolo Muani, who's been fucking hot since he got there, plus 220 to score against Como, seems kind of silly. And then we have to talk about Nico Paz, who's plus 450 every single game. So I'm just going to continue to take that dude. He scores once every 3 games.
Yeah, I mean, they played so early in the season, it's hard to look at the first match and take anything from that Juve 3-0 win, because that's when Juve looked really good for like a week. I remember watching that back in August for a little bit.
Yeah.
So you can't really take much from that, in my opinion. I think Como now they've spent the money. They brought in more bodies. I think they are going to stay up. They're only 2 points above the relegation zone right now, but they still have a couple other teams between themselves in the relegation zone. So I do think they survive. This is at the Allianz, which makes it. Oh no, this is at home. No, this is at home. This is
home game for Como.
This is in Como. So, I mean, I got to see what the line is on this, but
both teams to score minus 120.
That's what I was just going to look for.
I got you.
Yeah, I mean, because both teams have been conceding goals too, and that's the logic I looked at there. Was that neither team's kept a clean sheet for most of their last 5 games. Let's see. Como, both teams scoring in 4 out of 5. Juve's without a clean sheet in 3. Como's without a clean sheet in 5.
Does Como have a clean sheet this year? Like, I'd be impressed if they did.
Yeah,
I'm sure they do. That's kind of where I'm at. And man, I don't know who I've turned into to like keep giving out goal scoring props, but like, I don't know. Some of these numbers just don't really make that much sense to me.
Yeah, the Paz one, I think you got to keep playing because he does score enough to justify hitting 1 out of every 3 or 4 games. Because if you're getting a plus 450, you really only need him to hit once out of every 4, and you're still up money. Yep.
And I've gotten him at plus 500 twice, and I've cashed once. And I've seen him at plus 425 or better every other game.
Did we already talk both teams to score then? Is that what you said, Nick?
That's what we just said. Yep.
Okay.
I'm trying to see what's the team total here. I mean, Juve over 1.5 plus 115. Like, I don't want to take it, but if you're giving it to me and they're playing Como, I don't know.
Yeah, hard to say no.
I was expecting a little more Juve hate from you guys. You let me down.
It's hard for me to do Juve hate because I'm the Napoli hate, so it just becomes Italy hate, and then I get mean messages on Twitter. So
yes, John, he is penalty and free kick taker, both. No, that's fair, Scotty. That's super fair. You
So
can't.
I'll let you ride the Juve hate. I'll support you, and then we'll switch roles when we get to Napoli in a couple matches here.
And
Okay.
just to back the pause number, Nick, when you're thinking about how often he scores to take a chance on a number like that, I just saw he was scoring a goal once every 312 minutes. So that's, once every 4 matches, basically, on average. If he's playing full
Maths.
90. Yeah.
That's maths. What's his cumulative XG this season, Coach?
I think it was 6 change. I just
Yeah,
had
I
it.
mean, you could give me any number with a decimal point, I would have believed you.
6.91. So he's actually
There you go.
underperforming a little bit. He should have
Please
he
do.
should have a couple more. Yeah.
All right, there you
do.
go. This is your week. Make it
All
against
right.
Juve.
The next team, Nick, they screwed us yesterday too, along with Lille.
Been screwing us for a
It's
month.
Atalanta, yeah.
They
At
need to get
Verona.
their heads out of their asses and start scoring goals again. So I don't really know what to do with them right now. They're playing Hellas. We know everything there is to know about Hellas, but I don't know that I could trust Atalanta right now.
No.
That's fair. I mean, I'm still going to take Atalanta -1 at -115 because I can't see them dropping points to Verona right now.
No, I think that's kind of fair, but
It's hard for me to trust them at -195 in the money line and these kind of lines for a team that's been doing what they've been doing to us. I think if they were like closer to plus money, I'd probably say, yeah, you got to take them. But
if Atalanta drop points here, officially out of the Scudetto discussions.
I almost think they're out of it already when they
I
drew
think
that
it's a
game
two-team
to
race,
Torino.
I don't know, but
Yeah.
they're 7 points back on Napoli. Again, I'm going to save my Napoli hate, but we're having the Conte meltdowns. So
And I asked the question on Twitter, and who feels worse after the weekend? Because Atalanta, Inter, and Napoli all drew.
Mm-hmm.
And Atalanta's been playing bad for a couple weeks. They brought Scamacca back. They rushed him back. He re-injured his legs. He's out for the season. Lookman is hurt and maybe wants to leave now because he does that every February or March, it seems like. CDK has cooled off tremendously. Pasalic is fucking terrible. I don't know. They're worrying me a little bit. I just don't know that I trust them with a bet until I see them roll out another 4-goal half, in back-to-back games.
Agreed. Leg says free Lookman, but Lookman is injured for the time being.
Yes,
so.
he's injured. AKA his agent's talking to Madrid or Arsenal or somebody.
Well, at this point, the transfer window's open.
Too late now, yeah.
Closed, so, yeah, it's not open anymore.
Contract.
Yeah. All right. Brings us to Empoli hosting Milan. Milan -150, coming off a pretty easy victory against Roma today in the Coppa Italia. And they blew that game last weekend where they should have held on probably because it was so late that Inter did level. I mean, Inter did deserve more than the one goal they got.
Dominated
but at the same time, right? But at the same time, Milan held that lead for so long and had to be a little tough to swallow. But then again, they bounced back very nicely today. So I wish they were closer to -140. I'd say just take them on the money line and take it and run. But -150, probably get a little creative. Maybe you look at Milan and over 1.5.
Yeah, I think we're going to see Chances FC turn into Goals FC. I think their team totals are going to be way back in play. Empoli's kind of fallen off a cliff a little bit, right? That hot start was an aberration. The thing
All
that
it took for Tammy was go get a 45 million euro striker, and Tammy decided to wake up today. It was either that or seeing Roma on the other side of the pitch.
Maybe a little bit of both. Yeah. But that's the thing, man. Little competition will do you right. He knew Morata was doing jack shit, so got him out of town. That's probably helping. They really are going to have to like what they saw out of Felix and Jimenez today, even in limited game time. So I don't know who's going to start, but if you're telling me Felix is going to start and you're giving me +250. Potentially worth a look based on what I saw today. But no, Milan.
If you think they could score two, Milan and over 1.5 is +105.
Yeah, I dig that. I mean, I would. You could take the team total by itself at -125, but
that's where I was going to go. That's kind of what I circled. Milan team total over 1.5 at -130. Definitely playable.
But do you think if Milan gets two, they're going to not win this match?
I don't.
Dude. Crazy
I don't, happen. But yeah, I don't know. We've been on that streak of getting fucked every single time.
Exactly. I mean, look, the way that I would do it, I would just ladder it. So I'd take over 1.5 and over 2.5 team total. Empoli have conceded 3 goals in 3 of their last 4 matches, 3 or more goals, I should say, including 4 to Juve.
Yeah.
So I think you can ladder that -130 and then +260 team total over 1.5, over 2.5, and call it a day.
I'm with you. 100% with you.
All right. Then that brings us to Nick's favorite match of the weekend, Torino-Genoa.
Refuse to comment on what they iced out my boy. Fuck him.
The 0-0 correct.
I was gonna say this
score.
is an under special, no? Like
it's got to be under 2.
0-0 is plus 550.
The total is set at it's set at over 1.5 at minus 195. The under plus 150. Did you say the Asian line, Scotty? The 2?
I didn't say Asian line. I just gave you the correct score. The Asian, what you want? Under.
The under 2 is minus 120. Over
120,
2 is minus 115. That's kind of where it's set at right here. I mean, I think if you go under 2, you probably got a good chance of pushing.
I agree.
Right? I don't see 3 goals from these.
You're not
two
losing
sides.
that. Is what you're trying to say.
Yeah. I don't see it losing.
Yeah.
It could, but that's only if Balotelli
Nope.
magically reappears. No, he's not. It's not happening. So
they're hating.
Oh, look at this! Roma plays 6:30 in the morning on Super Bowl Sunday. That's lovely. I thought it was a 9:00 game. I don't know. I'll be excited to wake up for that.
You can take a nap.
Yeah, not in my house, Nick.
Let's see. I'm trying to see 0 goals first half plus 130.
That's the Genoa match.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find a bet to give out because I said I was doing that for every game.
Could be. I could see a 0-0 half.
I can almost see Genoa winning this game. Almost. I don't know. Plus 145 draw, no bet.
That puts confidence in the listeners too.
No. I mean, plus quarter of a goal at minus 110. I don't think it's bad. Pinamonti's been really good. I don't know. I hate both teams, so I really don't care what happens if we're being honest.
Grasping at straws now. So let's move on to Roma Venezia. This is up in Venice. Roma coming off that loss today in the Coppa Italia. Spoiled a pretty good run they were on didn't necessarily spoil their league run. They've been in pretty good form in the league. This was a blemish though, and maybe one that I didn't expect a 3-1 type match. I did not. I didn't know if they would necessarily go to the San Siro and win, but I didn't expect them to concede 3. A little disappointing in my opinion. They're minus 140 in the money line. I do think they bounce back against Venezia. I wish it was a little closer to even money though to put a stake on it. To be quite honest,
I would take it. This is the very edge of what I would recommend to anybody as a bet. But I really don't imagine that they drop points. They have a pretty tough schedule coming up too, right? If I'm not mistaken, Coach.
No, Parma,
I think
Monza,
they just kind of got through. They got Porto
Empoli.
in the next 2 Thursdays. I think is the.
I'm sorry.
The big
ones
thing.
that finished the season with a tough schedule.
They finished the season with a tough schedule. They kind of just got through a rough stretch. Playing
So
Napoli
they have
and
to.
Milan and
They have to basically win this game, like must-win game.
Yeah.
I think minus 140 is probably playable. Minus 130 on the team total.
Yeah, something I would keep an eye on though too is rotation because they do have Porto on Thursday in the first leg of the Europa League playoff.
They at home for that one?
I gotta check. I don't remember what.
Just curious. I mean, you got to rotate regardless. I'm just curious if they're home or not.
And he played the
starters.
He played everybody today. He played most of the starters. He didn't play Dubik, which was interesting. He came off the bench. No, the first leg is at the Dragao, so that's going to be a tough trip to Portugal, to Porto on Thursday. Then it's Parma on the weekend, and then it's the home leg against Porto. So
could Roma be looking ahead?
I don't know if they could afford to after today. I think he's going to be on their asses, but they could. They're but I do think the stronger lineup over the next 2 weeks plays the Europa League matches because that's Roma's best chance at path to Europe at this point. So
for sure,
I do see some rotation. Maybe like Dybala sits for Sule or Baldanzi or El Shaarawy or somebody. So I think that's just something you got to keep in mind. If you take them on the money line, make sure they're playing enough guys that you're confident that they're going to get a couple goals. I think.
Books think Venezia get a goal at home.
I mean, Roma's conceded quite often enough that even the wins, right? They beat Udinese. Udinese scored that match. Napoli scored last match. They really haven't had a clean sheet. I have to check when the last one was. It feels like it's been a while. Let's see. The last time they had the clean sheet against Frankfurt, but outside of that, in the league, the last one was against Lazio back on January 5th.
Is what's his name not playing for Venezia? Polo Giallolalo, whatever his name is.
I thought I saw him in the transfer.
Did he get transferred out? I'm wondering why he's not listed as a goal scorer.
I think he did get transferred out. Yeah.
I'm mad. What's up, dude?
Coach, I will give you some good news here. If you can avoid a loss, Roma will go 2 months unbeaten in Serie A. Their last loss was...
that's what I've been saying. Like the run's been pretty good in the league, and I think this is one that they've been playing well enough that they should win this match. Only thing that worries me is if he over rotates, and then they kind of struggle. They give up like maybe a crappy goal, and then it turns into like
we've hit the point in the season, February 5th, where Coach Steve cannot even talk himself into a win against Venezia. That's rough.
I'm gonna try. I have to talk myself into waking up at 6:30 in the morning on a Sunday now. I thought it was a 9:00 game in my mind, so at least it's not 2:45 because I'd really be disinterested by that point in the day because the Eagles are playing. So
priorities.
Yeah.
Right,
Dybala's fit. He did nothing today.
Yeah,
that jerk.
Let's get into Nick's club.
Let's
see how confident he is against mighty Monza.
Minus 275 on the money line, Nick.
Great. Good for us. I guess we earned that at home. We have a tremendously brutal schedule coming up, so pretty much a must win. But you want me to give you a bet? I don't know.
Yeah, no. You said you're going to give me a bet in every game.
Monza to score a goal, minus 125.
That's boring. Then do both teams to score.
You could.
You think your boys are going to get shut out?
I hope they don't, but I've seen crazier shit.
Both teams to score is
even money.
Plus 100.
Yeah. It's not bad. You can go over 2.5 also, minus 130. I mean, every Lazio game pretty much goes over, so.
Monza's without a clean sheet in 16 straight, so if Lazio don't score on them, that's bad news.
How about Lazio money line first half, minus 115? They going to score early?
Hit or miss, man.
Get a lead?
Really hit or miss.
It's hit or miss. It's 50-50, but I want you to be confident. It's Monza. No way Monza's scoring on Lazio.
Reverse fixture was a 1-0 for Lazio back in November. So, yeah.
Yeah, but that's on the road. They're at home now.
Fact.
So, I like their chances.
We got all those.
Literally sitting bottom of the table. They've scored 20 goals in 23 matches. They're not scoring. Lazio clean sheet. Lazio first half money line.
The only green circle on Monza's list here of recent matches is the one against Fiorentina. Everything else is red.
Yeah,
that might have been a game of the year.
I think that was pretty sure that was a match we bet.
I can guarantee you it was.
Yeah. All right. Cagliari Parma competing for TV time with your team.
Let me wait for Oaks to chime in on the chat for Parma to do something. I mean, Parma plus 260. That's actually kind of silly. I think they're a better team. Cagliari is a really tough place to play, though. I mean, I will say that.
Yeah.
But I don't know how Parma's getting plus 260. I might go Parma on the spread here.
Yeah, I'm on SofaScore here, and BetMGM has them listed for plus 300 on the money line.
Yeah, I was gonna say Parma. They're good at getting draws, right?
Yeah, double chance is minus 115.
Yeah, maybe that's the play.
That could be the play. Reverse fixture was a 3-2 Cagliari win in Parma, but that was in
Parma scoring.
Leg nose ball.
Yeah.
Did Balotelli sign with Monza? That's an excellent question. I don't know. It was rumored, but I don't know what. I don't think he was transferred, so he has to get released, or is he still technically a Turkish player?
Would have to rescind his contract, or
I don't know how that works, but I know the Turkish transfer window is longer than the rest.
To buy players, but not to.
Okay, I don't know.
I don't think Monza can bring him in.
Still. He can't get cut. Oh, because they had to register teams, right? So you can't still bring somebody in.
I think you can if it's on a free, maybe. I don't know how that works, but
I'm mad. We have to dig into this, bro. That's an excellent question that 3 experts on the podcast should be able to tell you, but I don't know.
Lecce Bologna, noon Saturday.
Bologna money line. Sunday.
Yeah, they're playing well, and the number they're getting is pretty solid. Minus 120. Yeah,
that's good. Yeah, you can talk me to that.
Pending injuries though, because Orsolini, I believe, is still not fit. Odegaard got hurt in the cup win, which is big for them, and I think Ferguson's also still hurt. He got re-hurt. So if those 3 guys are out, I like it a little bit less, but I think Bologna on the money line's really good, and Castro plus 250 to score. He's been really, really good. So
got the winner off the bench yesterday, right?
Sure did.
Yeah.
Both teams to score, maybe.
Well, yeah. Now that Lecce have lost their was he left
Both
back?
teams scoring in
Dorgu?
Bologna matches in 7 out of
Dorgu
9.
left back or right back?
Left back.
the guy that went to United for
United,
like
yeah.
a ton of money.
Yeah, left back, right?
Yeah.
Am I making that up? I think it's
I
left
don't know.
back. Either way, he's no longer there, so clearly they're going to be wide open at the back.
What's up, Nando?
United are willing to spend 35 million euros on him.
Yeah, I think this is one of the like very rare, too good to be true, but I'm still going to take it money lines of Bologna.
Yeah, I think so.
You could talk me into over 1.5 team total for Bologna plus 110. I don't hate that. I know you just listed off a bunch of injuries that they're kind of dealing with, but
yeah, what's Lecce's goals conceded?
They've conceded 41 goals in 23 matches.
Okay, I'm in. I always get confused at which teams have the really, really bad defense versus which just have the regular bad defense.
It's Lecce's third worst defense in the league. Only
Yeah,
behind
okay.
Hellas
Done.
and Parma. So
okay, absolutely done. I'm with you. Bologna fighting for that top 6 spot.
Get back into Europe. Ooh, do we get to talk about Napoli next?
Udinese.
Let's do it.
All right.
Napoli minus 250 at home, coming off
Our
the draw
Napoli-
against Roma and lackluster transfer window.
Are Napoli officially in crisis? It sounds like Conte's finally having his January transfer window meltdown.
Yeah. So some might call it a win though for not paying $60 million for Garnacho.
Yeah, well, that's certainly true. Listen, Serie A needs to stop buying Premier League United player and Chelsea player trash. I'm tired of it. Stop giving them like money for garbage players and free.
Chelsea have just so many players to give away.
We can't afford the good players. Scott is the problem.
Well, just go buy random unknown guys from the Portuguese league. Those guys always turn out to play well. Look at Nico Paz. So he was what, £6 million, something like that. Go find more Nico Pazes. Stop buying garbage from Premier League teams.
No, I mean that is fair. That is very fair. I do think like a lot of times the deals are favorable because like Chelsea will pay their entire salary.
Yeah.
Or there'll be no commitment if they turn out to suck. But I 100% get what you're saying. Like somebody that hasn't played on a really bad Chelsea team for the past 2 years is not the answer for a Serie A team. Like I got you.
You can get some 27-year-old overpaid player that hasn't touched the field in 3.5 months that's rotting on the bench for either Chelsea or United, or you could go buy 5 Portuguese 20-year-olds and hope one of them turns out well. It's all the same cost. Go buy 5 Portuguese kids. Somebody's gonna be fucking nasty.
Yeah. Okay. Not wrong. Man, I'm struggling here, guys. I don't know what to give out. I don't know.
I'd look at Lukaku plus 155 anytime goal score, possibly. I don't know. Like
He hasn't scored in 2 games. He might be due.
McTominay's plus 270.
Not good enough. Do we think
2.5
Udinese scores?
I was gonna say, is the under in play here? I don't know.
Might be.
I don't think Udinese scoring in this.
It might be.
Yeah, this could be one where Napoli just nails it down. I mean, at home, Udinese is not very good.
Napoli to keep a clean sheet is minus 110.
That's kind of where I was going.
That's probably where I would go.
All right. Yeah, I'm kind of with you. Okafor, right? Okafor went to Napoli. Did I make that up?
Yeah.
Silly.
Closes out the weekend on Monday with Inter Fiorentina, probably the best match of the weekend in terms of on paper, and Inter huge favorites minus 230, Fiorentina plus 500 on the money line up at the San Siro.
Moise Kean to score plus 300. I just think for a guy that's been scoring pretty damn near a goal a game, it's there. It's available. I think
second in the Capo race.
I don't rate
behind Retegui.
Fiorentina. I think you guys know that. But I like Palladino as a coach. I think Fiorentina plus 1 is kind of in play here at plus 110. Inter just haven't looked that good. Like, I don't really know how else to put it. They're not convincing their midfield. Like, these guys are being run into the ground. Like, it's Inzaghi 101. This is what he does, but they got a lot of games. They got Champions League coming up. This is a Monday game. So I'm guessing it's not Champions League this week. It's the following week.
Got to be the following. Europa League got their playoff
Right.
round.
So
this coming week.
is it the playoff round this week, and it just doesn't matter for Inter because they're not in the playoff?
Could be.
Yeah, the next Champions League is February 11th. So you got it's this coming Tuesday.
Okay, but it doesn't matter for Inter.
I do not see Inter. Correct.
Okay, yeah, because they're okay. I just man, I just
these two teams actually play two literally within
it's the
4 days
makeup
of
game.
each other. They have the makeup game on Thursday, so that's what Ahmed was referring to. That's a Thursday game.
Fiorentina's got to get something out of one of these games.
Yeah,
I don't necessarily know it's the away game, but like you almost got to get it first.
It almost has to be this one because they're at home, right? The Thursday game is the makeup game where they can't play any of their newly signed players, and they also sold some players, so they can only play with who was basically on the pitch, and they don't have much of a bench for it. That's going to be, I think they're issuing the second one. So, yeah.
I placed a bet already in this game. I'm going to give it to you guys, and it's a weird one, but the number didn't really make sense to me. Yassine Adli to get 2 shots, just 2 shots, not on target, not anything, plus 400. Like, I just think like that's just a weirdly incorrect number for a guy that I think he has goals in like 2 of his last 5 games, right? He's not a scorer. He's not an offensive attacking midfielder, but I just think, I don't know, could he rifle off a couple shots that go into the 15th row or get blocked or whatever? I don't know. I think that's kind of a big number. Yeah. Don't say that, John. Yeah. Don't do it to me. I placed it.
Gotta show the chat.
Oh yeah, sorry. I forgot everybody can't see what we're seeing.
Yeah. I got you. Whatever. You get your money back if he doesn't play.
Yeah, I don't know. I just thought that was a little bit of a broken line there. But should anybody back Inter currently with the schedule they have in front of them at -230? I don't know. That being said, they are in a very tight race where they will not want to drop any points, nor will Napoli. Tough to call. Like, this is the Arsenal game for me for Fiorentina. Like, who are they really? Are they a team that is actually going to compete still for a top 4 spot because they're 1 point behind Juve, 3 points behind Lazio with the game in hand is against Inter, as we just talked about. They're squarely there. So, like, are they really truly going to fight for it, or do they kind of fade into existence with Bologna having a really easy schedule coming up and Milan reinforcing the squad and going for it? So it's kind of, these next 2 games are going to tell me an awful lot. They can't drop 6 points, right? That's just kind of where my head goes when I'm looking at it.
Yeah, I've been trying to like find anything that is.
Yeah, if I was going to take a chance on anything, it might just be that Moise Kean to score, right? Because it's such a fat number for a guy who's got 13 goals already this year. That might be what I would take a chance on, depending on how the rest of my weekend goes heading into this one. I don't mind your logic with the +1. I might go to +1.25 though at -130 because that's still a playable number, and you get that extra quarter goal if they do lose by a goal. Because if they lose by 1 and you're at +1, you're just pushing anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Hey, listen, I'll always take the quarter of a goal. That's kind of my style. I'm with you there. Yeah, tough one. Like, and it's always like fucks with me because we have the whole weekend to play out before it happens. So like anything I'm thinking today, I probably won't be thinking on Monday.
Moise Kean to just get a shot on target is -135 also.
That seems kind of silly.
Like he doesn't even need to score, just put one on target. So that might be worth a look too.
Coach, I'm going to let you scour the world, but I do have a play or a couple thoughts on Real Atletico, the Madrid derby this weekend.
You can take it away.
My odds will refresh now in front of us, but anybody, guys, I know we have a lot of fans of the team in the chat. I know the team can never be counted out ever in any game at any time. Real Madrid might as well be starting the 3 of us and the 7 people in the chat as their 10 outfield players right now. Their defenders, they don't have a defender. We're talking about Valverde is probably playing left back or right back. Tchouameni's been playing center back. Lucas Vasquez, I'm not even going to say anything about him. I don't know how you could hang plus 200 on Atletico to score 2 goals and us not at least consider taking that as a bet. Real gave up 2 to Leganes today in the cup, and they started pretty much everybody they could possibly start. So they will have Champions League next week, right? Because they're in the knockout stage. Weird sandwich game. Not a good time to play Atletico.
They also have a pretty tough opponent in City in terms of who they got to face in the knockout.
And they're like, there's no way Carlo is letting them get dragged by the worst Manchester City side of the last 15 years.
Absolutely
so
not.
like, there's no doubt in my mind, like Mbappe might be fucking saving himself for that game. I can't talk myself into Real Madrid, maybe for the first time in my life. And they're getting mad respect, minus 120. They're at home. But yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't think to see both teams to score at minus 140. I wouldn't think to see Atletico to score 2 at fucking plus 200. Even Real to score 2 at minus 120. Like that's about as good as a number as you'll ever get on Madrid to score 2. So don't know. I just know that Real's defense fucking stinks. And I'm taking a stab at Atletico to get 2 goals. I just don't have any other way to do it.
Yeah. I mean, the logic sounded. So I went to Germany while you were talking.
Damn, God. Like I wanted you to back me up in this game. Like we're just.
I need take your word because I don't really watch enough La Liga and I haven't really seen those teams play much. But yeah, yesterday said that we should probably take an Atletico, right? I think it was team total, and before we could even blink, like they had already scored 2 goals. Would have been better than the Lille bet and the Atalanta bets we put in. So maybe we could have won a little money back. But yeah, I mean they're scoring. I don't mind it.
All right, Ahmed's in. Thank you, dude. That's the energy I was looking for from my co-hosts, bro. And these guys just let me down here.
I mean, if you're taking, I get that you want the long shot, like the plus 200. I think that's why you like the number. If it was plus 130, are you still looking at Atletico's?
No, total? I'm just because it's plus 200. Just
the
same way I took Manchester City to score 2 goals last week. Well, even though they probably had no prayer of getting that, I just will never get that again. So I have to take it. We cashed Haaland. I'm happy about that.
I don't know. Yeah, I was just saying, like, if I'm taking something in here, I don't mind Atletico's, double chance at basically even money. Because if they get 2 goals in this, I don't see them dropping points. Their defense is actually, back to being one of the better defenses after, last season their defense was pretty shit if I remember. Yep. So I don't hate in a derby double chance. Take the double chance and just watch a fun 1-1 draw that I'm sure will have 0 contentious refereeing decisions.
Right.
Not a 1.
If your book allows it, red card or penalty kick to be awarded, like that has to be a certainty in this game.
Yeah, for sure. I don't have card props right now.
Yeah, not up yet.
Trying to look to see what the total was.
But. Not up yet.
Yeah, so I went to the Bundesliga. And
finally,
right away, this one jumped out at me. It was Wolfsburg hosting Leverkusen. Leverkusen doesn't have to play the playoff round of the Champions League, so their schedule's clear until next weekend when they play Bayern Munich, who I believe they're 4 points back up, so they can't afford to drop points at Wolfsburg. They're minus 125 on the money line. I know it's in Wolfsburg, but that's a great number on the Leverkusen side that is challenging for a title again, and will have to keep pace heading into that head-to-head. If you don't necessarily trust them on the money line, you think maybe the road can trip them up. I think the team total is minus 135. I expect goals. The first time these two teams played was a 4-3 Leverkusen win early in the season, which included a Wolfsburg red card. And for that reason, I think there's going to be goals in this one as well. You can get the over 2 3/4 at minus 130. You can get the over 3 at even money. I think those are really solid plays. So there's some really solid lines in this one that jumped right out at me. Just wanted to look at one more thing here. Verts to score a goal plus 200.
So good.
He's been
so
really good. So that is something I would maybe take a look at as well. Or if they
I dig that
number or something like that.
They're like one of those teams though, like no matter who I pick to score, they don't. So yeah, I will
it's tough to pinpoint because they do spread it around a bit. But
yeah, but I do dig that.
The other one that jumped out at me, and I didn't even get to go through all.
Say it.
I started going through all these Leverkusen ones. Was Dortmund Stuttgart. Yeah, Dortmund Stuttgart.
Let's see.
Stuttgart absolutely annihilated them the first time they played 5-1. This one is in Dortmund, where Dortmund is better than on the road, but I expect goals again. And over 3 is minus 135. I would look there because I think you get at least 3 goals in this match. I don't necessarily trust Dortmund even at home right now at minus 115. Because Stuttgart was eliminated, right, from the Champions League, I
Yeah.
believe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they were.
Yeah. So they don't have that midweek match coming up. I just think there's gonna be goals in this one.
I
I
kind
think
of
if you
like
get
Dortmund at home. I'm going to go the other way. And
now Dortmund does have Champions League on the 11th, which is a couple days after this. So do they rotate at all?
Okay, that gives me a little bit of pause. Sorry, Scott, you were gonna.
No, I don't love Dortmund at home in this one.
I can't believe I had to scroll down to 11th place just now to find Dortmund in the Bundesliga table. Like that. That's
it's like scrolling for Roma.
Yeah, basically. But Dortmund's more consistent than Roma. So.
Yeah, I think if I'm going gun to my head here, I'm taking Stuttgart double chance again. Going double chance. Spend my theme this weekend minus 105.
Yeah, I don't hate it.
Fucking odd.
Yeah, I kind of like this Bundesliga slate this weekend. I do.
Yeah, it's good.
At least,
if my odds will show up for this game, I'd love to talk you guys through them. But I think
Eintracht. I know Eintracht's been slipping a little bit, but plus 150.
Them and Stuttgart has been too. And I've been praising Stuttgart for like a month, and they really kind of have let me down. If anybody wants to play them, draw no bet at plus 180. Yeah. Do I see why? Sure. You could play them at plus 3/4 of a goal even. But I just this is a classic odds game to me where like, why is Dortmund such a big favorite in the form that they're in? Yes, they're at home. We know they're really, really good at home. Smells really fishy to me. Kind of leads me to believe that Dortmund wins this game. And Stuttgart hasn't been good. They just really haven't been scoring.
Champions League's worn on them, right? They're another side that, like we've talked about Union Berlin last year. We talked about it with Villa and some of these other sides. You go to Europe for the first time, and it takes depth that you don't necessarily have right away.
Yeah, I'm going against everything that I've been saying for the past month, and that Stuttgart doesn't get the respect that they deserve from the books. They're not getting it in this game either, but this just something is really fishy. Dortmund money line. Now I see Oaks is on it. That makes me feel good about it. Feel like Dortmund do something here. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and I'm also looking at here Leipzig at home.
Yeah.
I know St. Pauli says is no losses in their last 3.
They're hot because I've been betting against them.
I'm not taking Leipzig in anything right now.
I know they're 4th in the table, but they do have to stave off these teams that are trailing them. I don't know if they
Holstein Kiel at home, coach against Bochum. Bochum fucking stink.
Yeah, Bochum does stink.
A lot of weird ones. A
Holstein
lot of
Kiel
plus
also
numbers
stinks,
though.
So Nick, that's your relegation special. There are 2 teams on 12 points.
All right, we're just taking over. We're taking the over. Over 2.5.
It feels. I mean, Kiel has given up 52 goals in 20 matches, and Bochum has given up 43 in 20 matches.
Over 2.5.
Kiel scores a bit. Bochum really doesn't. But when the defense is that bad on the other side, you got to find a goal, right?
I feel like mine's at home at minus 135 is decent.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just throw some darts, take some overs.
Definitely overs. Always in play in the Bundesliga. I forget which one it was we bet last week. Was it the Leipzig one, or I think we had the Leipzig over 3 or something, and every other match had like 2 goals by the time they got there first. And it's like picked the wrong one, but
Stuttgart over. I'm sorry, man. I have this terrible habit of doing this. Thank you. I forgot that everybody can't see it unless we showcase it. Yeah. Listen, I don't hate it. Like it's almost one of those correct scores too. Like, do you do a 2-2 draw, 3-3 draw, something silly because neither team can play D? I don't know. Just the odds tell me Dortmund are winning this game. We'll come back to it, but this is a Nicky odds game.
Yeah, you said Mines has won the last couple head-to-heads with so this is an interesting one. The last 3 head-to-heads between Mainz and Augsburg have had red cards. Just an interesting little tidbit I just picked up here as I was going through.
I'm in.
recent history.
Don't
Nick's
tempt me
gonna
with a
set the
good time.
alarm. Friday morning, Nick's waking up and locking that in.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
But yeah, that the Leverkusen match was the one that jumped out at me in Germany for sure, and then the Dortmund Stuttgart one as well. But I like Leverkusen. You can't afford to drop points knowing that Bayern's next weekend. So to me, like, I think -125 is a great number.
Yeah. Listen, I get where you're at, and good points that we brought up, probably all too late. And I think it probably had to do with the fact that the FA Cup, like, we weren't talking about really any teams in Champions League. Champions League is coming, Europa League, Conference League, like, schedules are getting packed, or they've been packed, but like, now's crunch time, like real deal crunch time, right? Teams know whether they have the chance to make a move. Teams know what their status in Europe is going to be. Proceed with caution. We saw it 5 times last week in Italy. We saw it a couple times in England. Proceed with caution. Last one I had, I don't have a play in it, but I don't know if you guys want to talk about it. PSG is at home to Monaco. I thought that was a pretty big one. But PSG is like a Mondo favorite at -250.
Oof.
So, like, I don't know. As the resident, have been wrong on Monaco every time I've ever bet them. Do we think Monaco could do a little something in this game?
I don't think they pick up my guy Jordan Henderson. He was trying to move from Ajax to Monaco. I don't think it came through. So I don't know that I can support them. Although they do have my guy, other guy. Oh my god, am I blanking on his name now? Asian forward.
Oh, Minamino.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. Monaco.
Never mind. 17 matches, just 1 goal.
Yeah. Rough.
In Ligue 1.
Yeah, I mean, +1.5, they're -120. I don't know. Like, do they keep it close? Like, don't know. Just a thought. Just a thought.
Couldn't tell you.
Who's PSG have in the Champions League?
Couldn't tell you.
That I mean, that's really the only reason why I brought it up.
Brest.
Like this is do they really?
Yeah, they have Brest.
Oh, they got rid of that. You can't play teams from your own league, like in the first knockout round rule.
Looks like it.
Never mind. I was really going to sit here and
they do have Brest.
I was going to try to make a 30-second case for you guys on why PSG would be looking ahead to their very strong opponent, but I can't.
In reality, Monaco is probably.
When in reality, they're at home in this game and they don't have to travel anywhere in France. Okay, fuck it. Never mind, guys.
Yep.
Tried.
That's where we end it.
That'll do it.
All right. Catch you guys again.